Hey guys, Becky Smith here. It's been months since I made a video and I'm really sorry about that. I've had some crazy stuff going on, surprise, surprise. It's kind of typical when you have chronic illnesses that are insane. So I left off saying that I was going to go see another doctor in Canada, and I did go see him. So I had been just over 2 years with my Lyme disease treatment, and in August, things kind of started to not get bad for me again, but I just noticed that things had gotten worse, and I started seeing symptoms I hadn't seen in a long time, like joint swelling, and my eyes have just been a mess, and I talked a little bit about my Bovian glands and whatnot, like I think probably after the month of August. So, you know, I was having all sorts of kind of different issues, and I was fatigued, and I was napping a lot during the day, and I was having a ton of muscle pain again, and all of that should have been things that would have been hit in the beginning of Lyme disease treatment. So I started asking myself questions, and I came up with the fact that there had to be some kind of mold related. And so I had lived in a home previously that had some black mold, and so I figured that maybe my belongings were still making me sick from my past home. So I cleaned up, threw everything, not everything away yet, but I cleaned up, I threw a lot of stuff away, paper things, porous items that I brought from my old home. And it had already been like 2 years since I've been out of that place, so it had been a while. And so then I went on vacation to a really sunny, gorgeous place, and I needed it so much, and it was the best thing ever. I felt great while I was there, though, and that was a weird thing, because just prior to leaving, I was having, again, muscle pain and just fatigue, and something was off with me. And so I went on vacation, I came back, and within 2 days was in excruciating muscle pain, and I'm talking the kind of muscle pain that put me in the emergency room in August of this past year. So what I realized was I realized that my home was making me sick. My current apartment that I was living in was making me ill. When I moved into that master bedroom in my apartment, because I was living in another bedroom before that, 2 days after moving into the master bedroom, I ended up in the emergency room, which I thought was a reaction from Levaquin. And I talked about that on here. So I was starting to have the exact same pain as I was having during my Levaquin drug interaction. And I think what was going on with a lot of these drug interactions and whatnot that I mentioned with the antibiotics were due to mycotoxin illness, so mold toxicity. It was freaking killing me, and I didn't know it. So what I did was I went up to Canada, I talked to a new doctor. This was before I even took my trip. So I mentioned that I thought there was maybe some mold issues, and he put me on like an antifungal. Didn't really get too much into it. He didn't mention getting off antibiotics yet. So I was going on vacation, so we changed the dosage to a different antibiotic. I think I was on Zithromax instead of the Doxy because I was going to be in the sun. Things were fine, and then I got back, realized that my house was making me sick. I had to get out immediately. You know, there's no way I was staying in there. And then once I was out of the place, anytime I would go in I'd be in there for 5 minutes, and I would start to feel dizzy and flu-like. And all these pieces I started to put together about like being home all day on Sundays, like prep cooking, and being so tired and feeling so sick, and not being able to go to the grocery store and not be able to do my food prep since I moved into the master bedroom. And there was also this like tick tick ticking sound that was above the bathroom in there, and I just think that was a leak, an invisible leak. So anyways, back to the doctor. After that trip, I went back and I was like, holy shit, this just happened to me, and I think this changes everything in the course of my treatment. And he was like, yeah, I think you're right. He's like, you've had over 2 years of Lyme disease treatment. I'm talking with my hand a lot. And so he said that he thinks I should get off of the antibiotics and see where I'm at with that. And I was like, yeah, I think so too, because the remaining symptoms that I have been having have all been having to do with this mold stuff, I think. So I got off, and I've been off of them for like a month. In fact, I don't even think about my Lyme disease. I'm so preoccupied with this mold bull crap. So basically had to get up and leave within like 2 weeks. So by the end of January, I was completely out of my apartment. I had moved all my stuff to a friend's house, and then I'm staying at my boyfriend's house currently. And I had to move my stuff like all over the place. Finally, yesterday, I got a storage unit. And every time I'm around my stuff, I also react to it. So it's like insane. I threw away probably 75% of my belongings, and now the rest are in a storage, that hand again, the rest are in a storage unit, and then I can kind of pick through that stuff and try to salvage what I can and sell what I can, and clean like jewelry and things like that I want to try to save. Thrown away most of my wardrobe. It's just insane, and I can't get away from it. So it's like every time I'm around my stuff, I'm wheezing, my eyes get puffy and red, they're itchy right now and swollen, and I'm immediately like just sick. So it's totally, completely insane. That's what I've been doing. But the good news is that I figured it out. I lived in that place for 2 years, and I lived in which was probably all getting the mycotoxins within the home or the apartment. But I think since moving in the master bedroom, I think that's the majority of where the mold was in the home, although I'm sure it was everywhere. I mean, the place was just kind of new, but constructed really poorly. So right now, my main focus is treating mold illness, mold toxicity illness. So I'm on cholesterol 2 times a day. I'm on charcoal, and I'm on rice bran, and those are binders. They're going to pull the bad things out of me. Of course, I have the genetic mutations that make it susceptible for me to have this kind of illness. Not everybody gets this sick with mold, and I unfortunately am one of those people that do. And it makes sense. I went to go see an allergist. She pricked my back. I was like blown up again, and she came in like, this is bad. This is like really bad, Rebecca. And I'm like, I know, but I questioned. I was like, why is it still so bad after 2 years of Lyme disease treatment? Well, now I know. I've been exposed from mold for the last 7, 8 years of my life. So that's why. Which leads me to LDA injections, which are, it desensitizes you from the allergies. It's different than what they do in the normal allergy doctor's office. This is something you have to go out and look for. Not a lot of people do it. I've been trying to follow Shoemaker's protocol. I've been reading a lot with Lisa Nagy, who's a doctor who researches mold, and just kind of seeing what they're all suggesting. And I really think I need these injections. So that's my next thing. I'm looking for some doctors down in Seattle that are doing that, and hopefully I can get in there and just start with these allergy injections. I think it's going to help with everything, because I'm allergic to the world. I should be in a bubble. I feel like I should be in a bubble. I'm at the point where I just kind of want to be curled up in a bubble. Give me a blanket and a pillow, and I can just live in there and just throw some like chicken and broccoli in every once in a while, and I'll be like, hi, thank you, and then just go back in my bubble, because I don't feel safe in the real world anymore. This is like traumatic experience for me. I'm not only reacted to my own apartment, I've also reacted to other people's homes, nice homes, homes that you would never think would have mold dripping in their walls, but